You know, I was watching this movie. I was like, man, there's a lot of apes. Why is there so many apes? There's a planet of them.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
A whole kingdom of the planet of them.
Well, that was a movie.
Hello and welcome back to Simon's Rants. I'm Simon. This is Justin. I almost forgot about him.
Terrible.
Today, we just saw The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's directed by a different guy. Wes Ball directed it. It was written by Josh Friedman, who also wrote Avatar 2. Other than that, he's not really known for anything. The director did Maze Runner, and that's pretty much it, if not literally it. So it's a bunch of, for the most part, unknowns. And then, aside from William H. Macy, the cast is primarily unknowns as well. Neither one of us have seen the other ones recently. We watched a recap video to make sure we knew what was going on. And so we'll recap for you in case you don't know what's going on. So basically, you know, the old Charlton Heston movie, Planet of the Apes, an astronaut comes back to Earth, thinks he's on a different planet, plot twist, it's actually Earth, but now all of the apes are in control. Huge shock, plot twist. But more recently we've done these prequel movies where we're showing how that happened, and so we had 3 so far. This is now the 4th one, and seemingly we're no longer in prequel territory. It seems like we've kind of caught back up and then past where we were in the original Planet of the Apes movie, because it's spoilers, we won't get into why, but by the end of this movie we can tell we're kind of past where Charlton Heston's movie took place, or at least it seems like it. Maybe not. We're in the same basic ballpark, though, as for when the first movie happened. So it's weird, because it's like no longer really the prequels, but still kind of, maybe it's just, obviously the original one is New York, because you see Lady Liberty,
right,
or what's left of her. This one, I distinctly remember the Golden Gate Bridge in the first one. So is this all just California? And so you don't know what's going on the other side of the country. There's no communication. So maybe we haven't gotten there yet. I don't know. Long story short, that's the basic gist of what's going on. There have been generations. They don't specify how many. Many generations in between the last one and this one. Despite that being said, first thing, the lady next to me thought every freaking monkey she saw was Caesar. That's Caesar? Oh, is that Caesar? Oh, that's Caesar's son. That's clearly Caesar's son. Why? Because he looks like him, I guess.
Clearly that woman should have, you know, watched that recap video.
Exactly. Or maybe just the beginning of the movie, because the beginning of the movie does a pretty good recap, honestly.
Hey, there was just some random monkey burn. Who was that?
I'm going to ask your opinion in 1 second, but I'm actually going to give my opinion first this time, which I rarely do. I thought, so this movie's 2.5 hours-ish, a little bit under.
Yeah.
For the first hour and a half, I went, holy shit, this is the best Planet of the Apes movie. I was in love with it. It was my favorite. And then the last hour was meh. And so overall, I still really enjoyed the movie, but I think it overstayed its welcome, and the more the plot set in, the more the stupidity set in. How do you feel, though?
It's hard for me to rank it against the other ones, not having seen them in so long.
Sure.
But I will mostly agree with you that I very much was enjoying the beginning of this, and then it started to get kind of generic.
It got generic. It got, like I said, stupid, like logic, as far as the plot, as far as how characters acted and interacted with one another. It all just went out the window. People just started doing really stupid things, and there's like a lot of foreshadowing for things that were gonna come back later, and it's like they got too lazy to fulfill some of them. There was moments where, with the main character's character development, where he should have reacted or said something, and then they just didn't bother fulfilling that need. And yeah, it was a shame, because the first section of this movie was so good. I loved it. I had no idea where the plot was going. I had no idea, in a good way. Like, I was like, okay, ooh, this is a fun twist. Oh, what's happening? Beyond the trailer, I knew nothing, and I was so happy with it. The character development was awesome. I loved the orangutan so much. My favorite character in the entire franchise, which I never thought somebody was going to beat Caesar. I love Andy Serkis, loved Caesar. The visual effects in this are phenomenal. So the movie looks great. The acting's great. The writing for the first hour and a half, like I said, so good. And then you're right, it just became generic. It became predictable or stupid. And yeah, it just was kind of over it by the end. It's 2.5 hours long. It didn't have to be. I was sitting there legitimately thinking for the first hour and a half, this was the best one, because None of the other ones I've really I've enjoyed every Planet of the Apes movie I've seen,
Right.
except for the Tim Burton one. I'm not including that. Every Planet of the Apes movie outside of the Tim Burton one that I've seen, I have enjoyed. I frankly forgot that movie existed until just now. But I've never really had a desire to go back and rewatch them, ever. This one, though, was the one that I was going, oh, I would rewatch this. I would enjoy going back and seeing this until that last hour happened. Like, you ruined it, man. I was having a good time. And then it kind of got sidetracked. But I don't want to lean too much into that because I still did enjoy it. I think it's still a worthy companion to the franchise so far.
It's a perfectly fine sequel in the post-Caesar Planet of the Apes world. I'm assuming there's going to be another one because, if
Why
this makes any
stop?
money,
Yeah.
why stop?
Yeah.
So if there's going to be another one, who knows if it will follow this group of people, this group of apes or not. But if they don't, they could probably continue writing good enough stories that tell whatever tales of what the goings on during this time period that they feel like.
Sure. And I mean, a lot of critics and people, too, everybody seems to have fatigue for big franchises, and people always say, why another sequel? Why another reboot? Why these big CGI action pieces? This shows that when you write it good, you can just keep doing them and making them entertaining. I have no problem with this movie existing. When you do sequels right, there's nothing wrong with them, or reboots, or prequels, or any of those things. And this is, I mean, it's been a while, it's been a minute since I've seen a big budget, CGI-filled monstrosity that I've legitimately enjoyed. And I enjoyed this. I did. I wish it was as good as the first hour and a half the whole time, but I would still give this, I'm in the 7 ballpark. I enjoyed it.
I can see about that. See, this is the exact thing that Star Wars needed. You have such a big universe, such a big timeline.
Explore it.
You can tell an adjacent story.
Yeah.
It had connections to the original trilogy of movies, but this was clearly many generations later and not involving anyone physically that could have been around.
And that was my favorite thing
lineage.
about it. That was my favorite thing that they did.
Got to see the actual world that we're now inhabiting, and it was nice.
Yeah, the philosophies that have developed, the societies that have developed, the way different factions have gone, and how people perceive the legend of Caesar at this point, because now many generations have passed.
Many. And
people take the words of Caesar that haven't been written down because the apes still don't know how to read or write, which is like, for it being many generations, they haven't evolved much because they still talk the same. But I was kind of expecting them to be a little bit more intelligent, but they seem to be about where they were when we last saw them. But anyway, they all take the words and interpret them the way they want, and that's so interesting. Like, there's commentary there that I'm not going to get into because I don't want to get religious or political here. That was so fascinating to me, and I love that so much. But you're right, when it started to really get into the plot, it became generic, and you see it a lot in movies of every genre where it's like, when the plot has to get somewhere, you lose a lot of the good things that got you there.
Yeah.
Develop the plot, you need to get the characters where they're going, you need to deal with the bad guy, you need to do all these things. And it's like sometimes you lose the cool things, the subtle things, like that were making the movie good. Like the things that made the movie good was the world building and the character development.
Yeah.
And, seeing like the one character I mentioned, the orangutan, he is like a monk. Like there's 8 monks now, and that's so cool to me. And I'm like,
a whole religious society.
yeah, and that's fucking awesome. And I wanted to see more of that. And obviously you can't spend the whole movie talking about it, but it's like when you start getting into just the big action pieces, it's like, okay, I've seen that before, So, yeah, I can't be too mad at the ending, but it definitely could have been better. It could have been smarter. There's a lot of really dumb things that happened in quick succession right before the end of this movie.
Yeah, the ending's pretty typical, pretty much what you would expect from a big budget ape battle movie involving just mostly ape characters. It could have been something a little different. Could have explored something a little different, or kept exploring something a little different. But
And I wouldn't have been mad if it had devolved into just a big action piece or whatever at the end. if the logic hadn't gone out the window. And we'll get into the logic in the spoilers, but it was just like, it was terrible.
You can't have logic with the action, all right?
You can,
we need big explosions, big actions.
Do it in a way that makes sense.
No. Visual, let's say niceness over making sense, all right?
And the movie did look nice. The CGI is good. This is what happens when you're not pumping out CGI movies every year. You take a few years. You're not, taking your CGI artists to the whipping block and letting them take their time and do their shit. And then, hey, the movies actually look good. Marvel.
Hey, this is only the fourth movie in how many years? All right, it's not a whole cinematic universe per se. It's like Scorpion King cinematic universe.
I think we're getting spoilers now. So if you don't want anything spoiled, you should go watch the movie first. Like I said, I do recommend it. I'd give it a 7. Justin would give it a...
Yeah, I'm gonna also go 7.
A 7. But we're going to get into spoilers now, so you should go watch it, come back, and we can talk about it then. But if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. Also, like, share, all those nice things. Thanks, guys. Bye. So, spoilers. What really got me was, everything after they get kidnapped by Caesar Proximus was shit as far as plot goes. So
it was not nearly as interesting.
It wasn't as interesting either, but it was also just stupid. Everything that happened was stupid. So first of all, he captures this lady and he throws her in a room with gaping holes in the walls and goes, "Okay, don't you go anywhere."
She's not an ape, man.
Doesn't mean she can't climb. And that's clearly shown because later she just leaves. They don't show her leaving, but so the apes are planning their thing. And so before they start their plan, Noah has to go and interrogate her and ask her questions to see if he trusts her or wants to work with her or not. And there's this whole ongoing thing, which I'll get back to later, about how, oh, you can't trust humans. Trust me, they'll always betray you. And so it's like, all right, that's coming back. Okay, cool. So anyway, he goes to get ready to do whatever their plan is. They don't specify the plan. It's like Scooby-Doo. If you say the plan, it doesn't work. If you don't say it, it works. Actually, that's not how it worked in this movie, so forget that. But anyway, Scooby-Doo logic. So you've got the apes are getting ready, and then she's there. And you're like, wait, how'd she get there? They didn't show her escape. She's just escaped. She's with them now. Awesome. So then she's like, all right, we need all of this stuff. Turns out it's gunpowder. She's getting ready to make an explosion, a big old explosion. So you're like, okay, cool. So they're setting it up. You don't see where they set it up. It seems, I assumed it was like by the vault door or something, but no. So they set that up and then they leave. By the way, they kill William H. Macy in between. And then she's like, we need to climb a thing. So then they leave. And you're like, well, they're explosions. But they didn't explain it, so I'm like, all right, that will come back later. It does.
Of course.
But it's like, we didn't explain any of this, so now I'm just like, it's just explosions. So then they climb up this cliff, and they go into these broken-in vents into what leads to the vault that they were been trying to get into, which isn't a vault, really. It's a giant vault door to... How do you explain it?
Military bunker.
Yeah, military bunker, sure. And so the apes apparently just never decided to like do any sort of scouting around.
There's a big door.
Yeah.
There's a big door that needs to be opened.
They didn't check anywhere. They're just like, oh shit, okay, so that's there.
Get some ropes, pull.
She goes inside, immediately finds an on switch to the bunker because whatever happened to these people was abrupt enough that they left their coffee cups at the desks.
Yep.
But they were also willing to turn off the power on their way out. And there's no dead bodies anywhere. So it's not like they were all killed and then one guy was like, oh, I'm dying, power off. Like, whatever happened, somebody turned the power off.
Well, clearly that is what happened and then the bodies were moved.
Oh, yeah, because they say, oh, it smells in here. And so I'm waiting for, like, corpses. And then there was nothing.
Nope.
So then she finds, like, an emergency axe, uses it. Well, not really. She holds it, kicks down a door, and then drops it.
Yeah, immediately dropped it. Yeah.
She finds a bunch of rifles, goes, nah, I'm not going to touch those. But here we've got a Game Boy cartridge. I'm going to take that, and it's going to just run numbers. It's just weird, random computer mumbo-jumbo that looked like nothing. And it was funny because you could see that there was like a bunch missing already. So I guess maybe it was the people in the other bunker we see at the end. that they took all the stuff but then forgot one or something. They went in from that bunker to the other bunker, but why'd they leave that bunker?
I don't know. I just figured that you were just connecting some random people out there.
I thought so too until just now when I was like, there was a bunch of slots and then one, and then they had a bunch of things except one, and she's like, here you go, here's the one, but I'm not hanging out with you, I'm leaving, I'm dipping. Anyway, so they do that. Then apparently she grabs a little, there's like, explain to me why a military base has a stockpile of you know, tiny little pea shooter pistols, because like you see all these assault rifles, but she steals a little revolver from somebody somewhere.
Well, listen, man, she described it as like a last-ditch bunker for them to, you know, hide in when the world was ending. So, you know,
sure,
maybe you got a variety of people in there. Not everybody can, you know, accurately shoot a 9mm. I know I sucked my one time shooting a gun, but I could shoot that 22.
Boy Scouts or no?
No,
I shot Boy Scouts.
My roommate got
I didn't shoot Boy Scouts. I shot with the Boy Scouts.
You'd be a lot cooler if you did the first one.
And so they get to the door, and she's like, all right, remember, you have to be quick. You need to get everybody out because of the explosion that's about to happen. Turns out they've been betrayed by Noah's mother. She somehow... They don't specify what happened, if she was tortured or if she just went, hey, my son's missing. Anybody see him? And the bad guy went, oh, he's up to something. I bet he's right behind this door. And he just stood staring at the door until it opened. Because I don't think he ever told his mom the plan, so I don't know how. They don't specify any of this. All that doesn't matter. So anyway, they open the door immediately. The bad guys are there. They're trapped. They're trying to torture information out of Noah, but Noah still has no idea what's going on. This whole time, he's just along for the ride. And so they're about to kill the girl, Ape. I don't know her name. I'm sorry.
Suna, I think?
Sure. And so the girl shoots the guy the ape that's about to kill her. So that's the reveal.
May shoots the...
May shoots the ape about to kill the girl ape.
Suna, yeah.
And... that's the reveal of the gun. We didn't know until this point that there were any guns. And so now, all of a sudden, the bad guy's like, ooh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I will let you go if you let me know that there's any more of those in here, which is a really stupid thing to say. You should just go look for them, but okay.
It's a big facility. They got other things they could be doing if they don't have any more guns in there.
Yeah.
You know, honor system. You know.
So she and Noah make eye contact. Maya and Noah make eye contact, and he goes, no, don't do it. And she goes, I have to, and sets off the bomb. And I'm like, you didn't have to do shit. You only have 5 more shots. Maybe only 4 more. I didn't see how many shots were in it, but it's a revolver. I'm assuming 6 shots. So you only have 5 more shots. But there's only 2 people you really need to kill. You really just need to kill the main bad guy and then the big motherfucker. And then everybody else would just be like, oh, okay, shit, all right. That's what I'm assuming. But regardless, you've got a whole group of good guys there. And only a couple of bad guys. Bang, bang. Plot over. But you said, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna swamp this whole place because I set up my explosions next to this wall, this retaining wall, keeping water out. So this wall is holding back, I would say, 20 feet of water, maybe?
Seemingly, yeah.
Something like that.
Constantly crashing at it.
Yeah, it's right on the beach. So she sets out that explosion, so water starts cascading in. Everybody says, get to higher ground. You're like, okay, climb up 2 floors. No. You gotta climb up it keeps filling in. It keeps coming. There, mind you, this silo bunker thing, it's tall enough to have a rocket in it. You came in the top, then you climbed up from outside, you came in...
Listen, it's
ground level.
It's a perfectly enclosed structure. There's no cracks anywhere, all right? Water comes in one spot. It's got nowhere to go. Water just keep rushing in.
That's not how physics work, Justin.
It just builds up, man.
That's not how it works. But regardless, they're climbing up, and the water is following them like a fucking monster in a monster movie.
So you explain these physics, all right? So now I'm making physics up over here.
It's like, what the hell? It should have just been like, psh, oh no, okay. Like, I didn't think it shouldn't have even filled the top of the door, let alone, they could have swam back out. What? This is like logic did not exist anymore. And it was so frustrating. And so anyway, they all climbed to the top after. So, okay, actually the big motherfucker, he's like a silverback. For some reason, only one silverback. Not sure why there's only one orangutan, only one silverback. I guess because that's how it was in the other movies, so they just wanted to continue that trend.
We only get one in every society.
Sure. Just like there was only one black guy in the group of humans. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Just one black guy. Anyway.
Listen. Black guys are the orangutans of the human world. That's all I'm saying.
What does that mean? You can't compare black guys to monkeys? Stop it.
I said orangutans.
That was your white half.
I said orangutans. Alright.
Anyway.
You got your token black person, you use your token orangutan.
Anyway, so we've been hammered in this whole movie that Caesar preached ape together strong, ape does not kill ape. Those are the quotes that the orangutan is giving Noah. So there's obviously going to be Noah killing the guy who killed his dad. That's obvious.
Of course.
But he gets him in a position where he's going to kill him. Well, actually, he's about to drown, and he looks at him, and for that moment, I went, oh shit, he's gonna be like, ape doesn't kill ape and save his life. But he just stares at him, and walks away. And it's kind of like Batman Begins when he goes, I didn't kill him or whatever, like, but I don't have to save your life. That's kind of what it was, but he didn't say that. It was an internal monologue where he was like, oh, I shouldn't kill him, but the water's gonna kill him. That's not my fault. And it's like, you should have said something. If that's what you're thinking, say that. And if you're not thinking that, you should be thinking that.
He's gotta rip all those pipes out. He's just one guy, alright? It's just like, shit, bro. Sorry. You should have been skinnier.
This is your fault, really.
Who told you to work out your whole life, man?
You should have had different genetics.
Yeah.
Should been a different kind of monkey ape
Come on. I got out. Fuck.
So you throw that out the window. Okay, so now he climbs to the top. He's the last one to get up there, and immediately the bad guy recognizes him, which I gotta give it to him. Give him props, because a lot of them look similar. I don't know how he recognized them immediately. They're apes. They're apes. And he immediately tackles him. They start fighting. Just calling it a fight's really not true. He's just getting shit kicked out of him.
It's classic chimpanzee fights. Throw you to the ground, pound your chest or back until it breaks and you die.
Sure, a lot less faces being ripped off than I'm used to, but sure. And so then this whole time also, his dad is like the Lord of the Birds, Master of the Birds, something like that. And this whole time, he's failed at the whole bird thing. But now is the time that it's all going to come full circle.
Yeah, as soon as they were like, I don't know how to call out to him. The Eagles hate me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, so you're going to figure that one out.
Continuing plot. But also at this point, I'm still waiting on an ape together strong thing. But how they shoehorn those two ideas together is instead of like the apes all working together to throw the bad guy off the cliff, which would have been super easy. There's 30 of them.
When they all stood up and surrounding him, I'm like, oh, they realized it's just one guy against them all now.
But instead, nope, it's the Eagles. But how that works is he starts doing his little hum singing thing, and then all the other apes get together.
That's
and
how
start
you call the Eagles.
Doing it together, and they're like, come on, Eagle, come on, Eagle.
Yeah, I didn't know they all knew it. I thought that was just kind of like his father and like.
Monkey see, monkey do.
I guess they all have their own.
Do it, they could do it too.
I guess they all have their own eagles, so maybe that's how you call all of the eagles. But okay.
You didn't appreciate that joke enough. I thought that was great. So it's kind of just this lame like hodgepodge of the two ideas coming together instead of committing really to one or the other.
See, you know what really would have made that scene? All right. When the Eagles are about to throw him off at the end, right? That's when he says, ape doesn't kill ape.
But eagle kill ape. Yeah, fuck yeah, eagle.
See? Perfect writing.
So anyway, then they're like, all right, we'll go back home. And so they all turn to go back down into the flooded area that they can't get through.
No.
What are they all just gonna hold their breath and swim out?
See,
they climb down the other way.
You see, what you're forgetting is, like, right? So they had this fence blocking all the water, right? Into this little area.
Right, so now it's gone in, now it's gonna go back out?
Well, so all the water's in there, and then it went up in the building, right?
Yeah.
So they're just gonna walk around to the other side of the building, and there's just no water there, because it all got trapped on one side.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it just all got held by that ravine.
I thought maybe it was like the momentum of the water crashing in that filled up the building, but now there's all this empty space so the water comes back out and goes under the ocean, so it's perfectly dry.
I mean, maybe when low tide happens, but you know, until then.
Sure. Anyway, so then at this point he completely distrusts May, the human, because she betrayed him. And she didn't. She's just stupid. You know, what she did was, I'm going to do what I believe is best. Now, what she believed was best should have been shooting the motherfuckers in the face, but she went with the explosions and water route.
Yeah,
she was still trying to do the best thing.
She didn't wait till everyone got out.
Okay, how was she going to?
Hey, there was another time.
So he's like, I don't trust her, and she doesn't trust him either. She was holding the gun behind her back, which frankly, if I was dealing with an ape, I would too, because it could rip my face off.
They are apes.
Some protection.
We used to have them in cages, and they know that now.
Yes.
She doesn't know that, but they know that now.
I love how that book, too, because they're reading this ABC's book,
Yeah.
and that's how they find out that monkeys were in cages. But so it's like, here's a lion, here's a giraffe, here's a gorilla, here's a monkey, here's another monkey. It's just like all these monkeys. It's like they're really hammering home that we had monkeys in cages.
Yeah.
We didn't need to see that about the lions or giraffes. Just one picture's enough, but you need to see a bunch of monkeys.
There's a lot of different monkeys.
But yeah, so it was frustrating because it just is. The first dumb thing that happened, or it wasn't even like a dumb thing, it was just like, oh, we're getting tripped up by a boring plot here, was when, you know, the bad guy gets revealed. Because he does his little speech thing, which I'm like, does he do that every day? Because he gets out, and at this point, all the other apes have been kidnapped for a while. They're all there. The only new people there are the main characters. And he gets out, and he's talking to not them, but the rest of the enslaved apes. And he's like, I am Caesar now. And it's like, we all know. We've been doing this every day for a while.
Listen. There might be a couple of new people each day, all right? He's got to give the entire speech every day. It's a burden. He knows it's a burden, but he does it for his people, okay?
Sure. But so I was like, that little hiccup made me go like, oh man, okay, but I can ignore that, and it can get good again. And it did. And then just went and just kept doing the stupid things, and I'm like, this movie went from like perfect. Like, I was gonna give this movie at least like an 8.5, and now it's, like I said, a 7, which is good. But I was just like, man, this was so good, the best of all of them, and then it ran out of steam or something. It really did.
See, it's just not enough of an adventure. We didn't get to explore the world at all after they got kidnapped. It's like, we know where we're going. Let's head there. Oh, we're kidnapped. Okay, now we're there. Yeah. Okay, now we're done exploring.
Which, to be fair, that would have been disappointing, but it would have been fine because you kind of expect that. Like, plot needs to wrap up.
Yeah.
But if it made sense, any logical sense, any of those things that I said were just fixed, I could have forgiven it and been like, yes, that was the best one. But it just got dumber and dumber and dumber until it ended. And I was like, oh, man. That's a shame, because I loved all that world building. Like the orangutan monk guy, so cool. And the way that he like was spewing all this nonsense about how the world used to be, I loved all of that. And then you hear, you know, the new Caesar's version of what really happened. I loved all of that, dude. It was so good.
We'll call her Nova. They always call them Nova. I don't know why.
I don't know. Something. Yeah, his comedy was brilliant. He was hilarious. Every line he said was golden.
Yeah.
When he died, I didn't want to believe it. I'm like, he's coming back. He's got to come back. And he didn't. I was like, no. He's too good to kill off.
He was the last one of his group.
Yeah. Possibly gay. We don't know.
Possibly.
I think that was just like the only other monk left. But it said he was my tribe. He specifies he was my tribe. I'm like,
because at the time we have no idea about the whole monk system yet. So it's just like, oh, just you and that guy are just a tribe?
He and I, we were a tribe. I'm like,
okay.
Huh. Gay orangutans.
The apes rule this world, so you only got a 2-person tribe?
Gay orangutan. I don't know. Yeah, no. I mean, I still can enjoy the movie. But that last part of it definitely hurts the rewatchability, which is what set this one aside for me initially. Like I said, I've enjoyed all of them.
Yeah.
But I don't have any desire to go back. This one, I was like, I really enjoyed this. I want to show this to people. I want to watch it again. And I'm like, because of that ending, that kind of goes away. And so now it just becomes another one. And I'm not saying it's worse than them, but it's not better than them anymore, which is disappointing. Because, you know, I think, like, still, I would have said, like, my favorite thing about the franchise would have been Andy Serkis, probably. My favorite moment in the franchise was when the one ape is pretending to be a dumb ape and gets the rifle and then gets serious and shoots them. That still, those two moments, those two things still would have been, like, better than any singular moment in this. But the overall movie, for the longest time, I was like, but this is just overall my favorite one. And then it stopped being, and that's a shame, because I was like, man, it was so good for so long. You know it's good because I stopped noticing that lady talking. That's how good this movie was. I was able to eventually tune her out, and I forgot she was there for a while. Granted, the movie also got really loud, and I stopped hearing anything else.
Yeah.
But I did forget she was there for a minute. And then she went, oh, damn, when something happened. I'm like, shut up! Even though, like, frankly, if all you said during a movie was when, like, somebody got hit, they'd go, oh, damn! I'd be like, okay, sure, fine. But
yeah, it would have been fine if you hadn't had an hour
of
talking.
Yes. What are they doing? Where are they going? Shut up and find out, bitch!
I missed that. What happened?
None of us know what's happening yet. It's like the first scene, they're climbing things. That jump's too far for you. Oh, shit, he made it! I'm like, yes! I know, I saw it! I saw it too!
No, but you wanted the play-by-play, right?
She literally was giving the play-by-play. I'm like, I can see shit. Is the guy with you blind? Is that why you're doing it?
There's color commentary practice right over here.
God. The CGI was good, and it was good all around, but the faces were what was really amazing to me. I love the facial reactions, mainly of, you know, the orangutan guy, Rocco, something. Well, however they said his name, Rocco, I think was his name. And then the Caesar Proximus. I mean, every time he was shouting, there was spit flying. It looked good. There's one scene where, actually multiple scenes where they got wet and it just looked so realistic. But also there was a scene, so when the main character, Noah's dad, dies, instead of having this huge, big, over-the-top reaction, because it's the next day, he's woken up from being unconscious and he sees his dad laying there, and he goes and he, like, kneels next to him, and he just has this face of just, like, overwhelming sadness, but not, like, feeling helpless.
Yeah.
And it was such a subtle reaction that it's like, I can't believe they were able to do that with CGI. And also just from an acting perspective and a directing perspective, it's like, you went with such a bold decision by not being bold, because everybody's bold in that, and you went subtle. It's like, that's brilliant. So this director, like I said, hasn't really done anything else, just the Maze Runner movies. This writer has done very little else. These guys are good. Like, I thought there was some really good directing, some really good cinematography too. Some of the stuff looked really pretty. Like, some of it looked so good. And then the writing, like I said, until the end, was good. So I feel like the writer was probably good, and then he was forced to do stuff he didn't want to do.
We gotta wrap it up.
That's usually what happens.
Come on, we need a big flood scene.
Yeah. So, yeah, I approve of it. I probably will end up rewatching it, because now that I can kind of recalibrate my expectations, I'll be able to enjoy it more, because I had no expectations going to this. I was just like, oh, it's another one of these. None of these have been bad, so let's see. New director. Don't know what I think of him yet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy shit, this is really good. And then now it's not quite as good. So, I don't know. I think I'll rewatch it, probably.
I have people that will want to see it in theater, so I'll end up seeing it again before it goes out. But after that, maybe.
Let me know if it gets better a second time.
I doubt it.
I doubt it, too. But like I said, it doesn't need to get that much better. It's good. So, I think we're done. I'm hungry. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. If you've seen the movie, please let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Also, don't forget to like, share, and if you're new here, subscribe. Thanks, guys.
See you.
All right.
Damn dirty apes.